Welcome to this segment of Because You Asked. I'm Barry Nussbaum. Over the past few days, there have been a number of riots or near riots intended to inhibit the First Amendment rights of speakers on college campuses in the U.S. As a follow-up to our earlier story of a few weeks ago, a number of you are now asking, is the First Amendment under attack on college campuses? Here is the evidence. Let's review it together and then decide. A few weeks ago, we did a story about the riot on the Berkeley campus of the University of California. This riot was intended to block a conservative speaker from appearing on the campus. The rioters caused extensive damage and injured a number of people. Their mission was successful in that conservative Milo Yiannopoulos was forced to leave the hall, escorted by armed guards as the rioters spray painted the buildings, broke windows, and started fires. Since then, there's been a follow-up riot in Berkeley. Unlike the first one of a few weeks ago, during this outbreak, get this, actual arrests were made. Quite an improvement from the riot on the Berkeley campus when police were instructed not to intervene to protect Milo's planned speech. It was intended to draw attention to the fact that the University of California is a sanctuary statewide. What does that mean? Well, it means the UC system intentionally and knowingly harbors illegal aliens from law enforcement. Who was behind that first attack on freedom of speech in Berkeley? Well, to begin with, there were several hundred bussed-in protesters dressed in black from head to toe and wearing ski masks. Many were armed with pipes, sledgehammers, fireworks, torches, and at least one with pepper spray. You remember the pepper spray in the face of the one student was caught on live TV while she was being interviewed. The students and their non-student supporters were very well organized and they came ready for mayhem. Some came with spray paint that was applied to the campus buildings, showing their lack of support for President Trump. You'll remember the F Trump slogan spray paint on the buildings? Well, shades of Berkeley this past weekend at Middlebury College in Vermont. Now, this esteemed liberal arts college, founded in 1801, disgraced itself when hundreds of students screamed in a lecture hall until the invited speaker, a conservative scholar and also a professor from another school, was forced to leave the hall. As he was being escorted out of the hall by his host professor, a Middlebury College professor, they were physically attacked and one was actually transported to the hospital. The honor code at Middlebury requires strict punishment for behavior such as this. It will be interesting to see if Middlebury reacts like Berkeley did. There were zero consequences for the students at Berkeley, and now there are a large number of Middlebury students who absolutely refuse to allow First Amendment rights of expression on their campus if it differs from their opinion. Will they get the Berkeley punishment? Meaning nothing? There's a difference to point out. The Berkeley riot on their campus of several weeks ago caused significant damage to buildings and property, and a number of attendees of that speech really didn't walk out physically in the same condition. Now, no one was ever charged on that campus. Let's see if Middlebury makes the same mistake on their campus. This crazy, bizarro attack on freedom of speech in America on the college campuses is spreading. A University of Washington Tacoma campus, their Writing Center press release told their students that expecting America and Americans to use proper grammar perpetuates racism. The University of Nebraska, Omaha, will host a workshop for anti-racist allies to develop action plans that confront America's foundation of systemic oppression in the context of the current political climate, i.e., President Trump. The workshop was inspired by Professor Tammy Kennedy's recent book that's titled Rhetorics of Whiteness. She will lead a discussion on taking action against white supremacy. That's on our college campuses at a public university. Black students at the University of Michigan are demanding that campus officials provide them with a permanent designated space on Central Campus for Black students and students of color to organize and do social justice work, excluding all other students. Bob Lang is an associate professor emeritus of physics and an adjunct associate professor at Brandeis University's Heller School for Social Policy and Management. He says, this is a quote, "It is not terrorism to kill representatives of a government you are opposed to," unquote. His remarks were reported by the Canary Mission, a group of students who document people and groups who are promoting hatred of the USA, Israel, and the Jewish people, particularly on American college campuses. They are reporting that Lang maintains that the 2012 terrorist attacks on the American diplomatic compound in Benghazi, Libya, which killed 4 Americans, including our ambassador, and injured 10 others, is not terrorism. I'm serious. It would seem that what's happening is not a freedom of speech issue, but rather a support of freedom from speech. In other words, to many young people, it is more important to them to have the right not to have to listen to a position they disagree with than for them to be able to speak their minds and for others to speak their minds. How incredibly sad. So to answer your question, is the First Amendment under attack on college campuses? The answer should be obvious, a resounding yes. Now, what can be done, you ask, to protect the First Amendment rights of all students? Well, it's simple, and that is to force the on-campus rules to be enforced and let the law punish those who cause the rights to be taken away. Protected free speech in this insane behavior will stop if the law and the rules are enforced. It's just that simple. Please keep your questions coming to American Truth Project and our social media on Facebook or Twitter. If we select your question, you will get a special gift. We are here to answer your urgent questions because you asked. I'm Barry Nussbaum.